I'm asking British Columbians, if you have a choice, please don't travel to the United States. Choose another place to do your tourism. If you can choose a Canadian product instead of an American one, please choose it. Right now, Canadian workers from coast to coast to coast need our support. With 50% tariffs imposed by the president on many products, by being our own best customer, we can help respond and support Canadians in every corner of this amazing country we call home.
You may ask yourself, what can I do? What can I do to help? This morning, I had the chance to talk with many associations of retailers to really have them on board to make sure that at your grocers, at your local shop, that you understand what are the Canadian products. And I have their support to make sure that's the case. And we will push them to make sure that that's the case, because that's really how you can help. If you see a Canadian product, please support it. Actually, when you choose a Canadian product, you're not only putting pressure on the US. Right now, you're protecting jobs, because the new companies that are affected by the tariffs are actually those that you may see at the grocery store or at your local Canadian Tire. That's what you can do.
Whoa, 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 wait a minute. Take a look at this. Florida tourism dips again as Canadian visitors continue to stay away. Yeah, Canada is like, nah, we're good. Yeah, so the numbers in Florida are down again. And this is going to keep happening, especially since the United States government seems to constantly be going after Canada. And a lot of Canadians are like, you know what? Okay, if you don't want us there, we'll stay here. Or we'll go someplace else. So yeah, this is directly affecting Florida tourism. The numbers don't lie. Tourism is down in Florida, and it's only going to get worse. Why? Because we have an administration that just doesn't know how to play nice with Canada. And until they do, Canadians will go elsewhere.
We're not going to America. We're not spending our money there. It's Canada first, baby.
Well, you wanted a trade war with Canada? I guess this is how you get a trade war with Canada, bud. You want to talk about trying to hurt our country? You down there in Washington think you're absolute fucking snipers, but you're just pathetic bottom-feeding duster plugs who couldn't close a deal at a fucking lemonade stand. You actually thought your trade rep, Jameson Greer, could pull a greasy backhanded bait and switch on the terms after we spent 3 days trying to bail your collapsing economy out? Give your fucking balls a tug, you absolute losers. Mark Carney looked at your unfair, uneconomic garbage offer, spat on the floor, packed his hockey bags, and walked out the door because we don't negotiate with terrorists or toddlers. You're going to slap a 50% tariff on our hockey equipment, our dairy, and our cement using some dusty Depression-era legislation like it's a tough guy move? Wish you weren't so fucking awkward, buds. Your administration's math is so fundamentally broken it makes a degen look like a rocket scientist. You think you're punishing Ontario and Quebec, but the Canadian Chamber of Commerce is already laughing because American consumers are the ones about to start paying double for their own breakfast and plywood. You're literally punching yourself in the mouth and crying that somehow our fist got in the way. You're whining to the press because most of our provinces pulled American liquor off the shelves last year and wouldn't put it back. Well, look at the fucking scoreboard now, boys. We're matching you dollar for dollar, tariff for tariff. Even Doug Ford is standing shoulder to shoulder with Ottawa on this, meaning you've somehow managed to completely unite the entire country against you. You want a fucking trade war? We're ready to fill the fucking lanes and put you through the boards, bud. Your president is out here chirping on social media like a brain-damaged pheasant, calling Canada a 51st state and treating our PM like a future governor. Figure it the fuck out, you absolute joke of an administration. We're already scouting partnerships in Europe and Asia while your entire manufacturing sector takes a $20 billion body blow. Your trade strategy is fucking 10-ply, your administration is softer than a bakery cake, and you're about to find out what happens when you try to bully a country that actually protects its own workers. You thought you could break us, but you just choked on your own fucking whistle, bud. Go cry into your empty grocery store while your factory shut down from lack of steel, you pathetic short-sighted failures. Figure it the fuck out. And I'm just going to end by saying one last thing. 51st state, how about you 51st fuck off, buds?
I've noticed that Canadians have stayed strong and united against the Trumpster race and any kind of intimidation And this shows how proud Canadians are for their country. And I think each and every country is learning something from Canada to unite and fight together in times of difficulties. So let's get to see more. Please like and hype the video and let me know that's in the comments, right?
History will not be kind to Donald Trump, so we should never appease him, and we should fight back, which is what Canada is doing today. We can fight back against Donald Trump by buying from Canadian businesses, by supporting Canadian workers, and most importantly, by living up to our Canadian values.
You know what? I am glad that fucking trade deal with the Americans collapsed, and I'm also glad that this government is finally growing a bit of a backbone and doing dollar for dollar retaliatory tariffs. You know what they were trying to do at the last minute? They were trying to add language and clauses to that trade agreement at the fucking last minute that would have limited our ability to trade with other countries. And you know what? Canada's sovereignty is more important than any fucking trade deal with the United States.
So Canadians have been boycotting the United States and not traveling here because of Donald Trump, and it really worked. Canadians made 29.1 million trips to the United States in 2025, which is down from 39 million in 2024. The drop was the sharpest in more than 50 years of record keeping, and it's not like Canadians just stopped traveling altogether. They just started going other places. So for example, trips to Asia from Canada jumped 16.7% year over year. Trips to Europe also rose 13.6% year over year. So Canada gave Donald Trump the middle finger, and it looks like it worked.
So it looks like Canada understood the assignment. Look at this. We took $3.3 billion out of the U.S. economy. $3.3 billion gone just by not going there, by staying home, spending time in Canada, or going to Europe, or going to Australia, or going to New Zealand, or going any place other than the U.S. $3.3 billion gone from their economy, and all because of us. So great job, Canada. Maybe this year we'll get a little higher. What do you think? Okay. Canadians understood the assignment.
I want to respond seriously to some comments I have received from a minority of Americans on my personal decision to boycott travel to the United States. Philip says, dude, no one cares. We have spent 250 years not caring about the rest of the world. In my video, I was clear. I care about aligning my actions with my values, whether or not it makes any difference, whether or not anyone cares. I will continue to boycott travel to the United States and other US products and services as far as I reasonably can, whether people care or not. And spending the last 250 years not caring about the rest of the world might merely highlight the problem. Bobby reiterates the same sentiment, but more aggressively. He calls me an ableist slur, says we don't give a flying interest if anyone wants to come visit or not. He says the United States is worried about putting themselves first, and the only people that are worried about Trump are, and he mentions some minority groups. I refer Bobby to my previous answer and merely add that by highlighting so aggressively these minority groups, Bobby encourages me further to have nothing to do with such a corrosive, hostile attitude, perhaps influenced from the top of the Trump administration downwards.
Why don't Canadians want to come to the United States? Why has travel dropped off so much? Well, the biggest reason is the boycott, the grassroots movement that Canadians started all on their own. No government asked us to do it. Nobody told us to start it. We just decided we aren't buying anything from America until Trump is gone. Straight up, we don't agree with what he's doing in America. And unfortunately for the American people, the only way that we can do anything to help you guys get him out of office is to take away our money. So that's what we're doing. We're not traveling to you guys. We're not buying any of your products. If I see something that has the USA on it, it goes back on the shelf. I'll buy from Mexico. I'll buy from other countries. I'll definitely buy from my own, like Canada. But no, if it says the USA on it, it goes back on the shelf.
Little did I know when I fell asleep on Friday night just how damn proud Canada, or rather Canadians, would make me feel this weekend. And it wasn't only Carney's handling of Trump and his administration, it was the shift that I saw in everyday Canadians. I'm seeing a renewal of posts with cheat sheets showing people how to make smarter choices with their hard-earned dollars. I'm seeing a renewed passion for buying Canadian and supporting Canadian businesses and boycotting the United States. And it reminded me of something that I've always known, but I do tend to forget. We are strong not because of who we have in government. We are strong because of who we are as a people. We are willing to sacrifice for the principles we believe in. And when faced with external threat, we come together, united, for the most part, and buckle in for whatever is in store. There will always be people trying to divide us. There will always be things that we disagree on. But underneath all of that, there is something distinctly Canadian that shows up when it matters. This weekend, I saw it everywhere. I have never been more proud to call myself a Canadian.
If you own any type of business that is related to tourism, know that Donald Trump and his administration is trying to bankrupt you. This administration has destroyed the tourism industry of the United States. Make no mistake about it. Canadians have all but stopped traveling here thanks to Trump. And that's just Canada. All the other countries around the world have stopped traveling here. Friends of mine who recently traveled to and from Europe have reported half-empty planes. If you own a vacation rental or a small hotel, a bed and breakfast, whatever, you notice it. Everything is down. Business is way down. And they're continuing to do everything to hurt the tourism business, not help. Including this doozy that they came up with today. Tourists to the United States would have to reveal 5 years of social media activity under a new Trump plan. It's just insane. The proposed plan would apply to tourists of countries not currently required to get a visa to visit the United States, including Britain and France. So our friends from across the pond, when they want to come to the United States, they have to go through some process to show all of their social media and make sure they're not saying anything bad, I guess, about Trump and the U.S. So in a notice published on Tuesday, the U.S. Customs and Border Protection Agency, CBP, said it would also require any telephone numbers used by visitors over the same period and any email addresses used in the last decade, as well as face fingerprint, DNA, and iris biometrics. This is for people to visit the United States from Britain, France, Australia, Germany, and Japan. They're literally destroying tourism for the United States. This is apparently what you all voted for. This is going to affect everybody. It's going to affect airlines. It's going to affect hotels, the biggest hotels in the world. It's going to affect everything. Tourists coming over here are going to have to go through a litany of inspection of their social media, their email addresses, their phone numbers. Give me a break. How is that going to help anyone? He's doing exactly what I said he was doing. He's not here to help. He hasn't done one positive thing for us in the United States. He's dismantling and destroying everything. And in the end, he's going to give the big middle finger to everyone and laugh on his way out. You watch.
Canada and the US have been very good friends for generations and good allies. They have worked together on trade, security, and wars. Families live on both sides of the borders. But once Trump got into office, that relationship was ruined. Trump's repeated comments about Canada becoming the 51st state did not sit well with Canadians. Many saw it as a threat to their sovereignty because Canada is a sovereign nation with its own identity, its own government, its own history, and national pride, And also, constantly imposing tariffs on Canada makes the frustration even stronger. And many Canadians are now saying they don't think they are going to trust the US or even have a good relationship in the future because it looks like they are being bullied and intimidated. But I believe the two countries are stronger when they work together. Canadians not visiting the US hurts the US economy much harder because Canadian tourists, they spend their money on American hotels, restaurants, airlines, theme parks, and local businesses. So once they don't travel, all those businesses, they become affected. Same thing applies to products. When people refuse to buy American products, it's the companies that lose a lot. And that's why having a trade agreement is very important than intimidation and even threats, because at the end of it all, it is the ordinary citizens who pays the price. At the same time, alliances require trust, mutual respect, and cooperation. Canadians are making it clear that they want respect and stability. They want to know that their country can maintain its sovereignty without constantly facing threats or even pressure from its closest neighbor. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. Have a good one. I'll see you in the next video.